Okay, good. Here, the Total Line TV, we're on with James Buster Douglas, a man who everybody associates with the number 42 to 1, because when he stepped in the ring with Mike Tyson, February 11th, 1990, in the Tokyo Dome, nobody gave him a chance. James, it's great to have you on our show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. Listen, I understand you're still in the ring, but you're more like a sparring partner to your kids because you basically have a gym in Columbus, Ohio, and you teach kids to box, right? What's going on with that? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm actually the amateur boxing coach in one of the recreation department gyms in Columbus, Ohio. Same program that I came up under. I'm now back involved as the head coach at Thompson's Recreation Center in Columbus, Ohio.
Great. How are your kids doing?
They're doing great. I got a lot of kids just coming in, starting out, and bringing them along pretty good. Taking our time, let them develop and get comfortable in the situation. So,
right,
having a lot of fun. I'm really glad to be in a situation like this. Always kind of wanted to do it, but I'm glad I got the opportunity to try to do it because it's been worldwide. It's been very fulfilling.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, listen, talking about the topic that I wanted to discuss with you is the man behind James Buster Douglas. And also the woman, of course, your mother, Lula, had a lot to do with you and your development. But the man, the boxer who taught you, I suppose was your dad. And a lot of people think, well, no, Buster Douglas, yeah, he had a lucky fight. But the fact is, before Mike Tyson hit the canvas in the 10th round, you defeated Trevor Berbick, Greg Page, Tex Cobb, Oliver McCall. You had a total of 46 fights as a pro, 38 wins, 25 by knockouts. You had 6 losses, a draw, and a no contest. And so a lot of people they didn't give you the kind of respect that you deserved. In fact, you had fought a number of heavyweight contenders and also for heavyweight champion before Mike Tyson. So you had a lot of preparation beforehand. This was not a fluke. Tell me about your dad. Tell me about Billy Dynamite Douglas, your father, who was a middleweight and a light middleweight boxer. Tell us about the type of guy he was.
He was a great father, and a great man as well. He was very genuine about things, and he just provided for us and really helped me become the man that I became. Because he also worked part-time with the Columbus Parks and Recreation Department in the boxing. And he had a gym over at east side of Columbus, Blackburn Recreation Center.
Uh-huh.
And I started over there at the age of 10 and obtained a pretty impressive amateur record. And I won, several Golden Gloves, State Fair championships, and also won the Golden Gloves in West Virginia.
Right.
We traveled a great deal. I learned a lot from my dad.
But Buster, James, one thing though, this is interesting. Excuse me 1 second. You liked basketball at one point more than boxing. Isn't that true?
Oh yeah, basketball. Kind of got really involved in basketball from junior high, and I ended up going to school and college playing basketball. But basketball became a love of mine. I mean, I really, the high school I went to were state champions. 75, I went there in 76. And in 75, they won the state championship. And then in 77, we won the state championship. We were like number one in the state, number 2 overall in the country.
And so you were starting, you were a forward, James?
Yes, I was a forward. And, I didn't start varsity, but I started JV, and then I participated in some of the games in varsity. But we had a hell of a team my senior year in high school. we were like 26-0.
Right, but then sure. But then you were Golden Gloves boxer. Your dad, in his professional career as a middleweight and a light middleweight, he had 42 wins. Correct me if I'm wrong. 16 losses. He had 32 knockouts. He was an extraordinary boxer. He won against Luis Vinales, Willie Warren, Tom Bethea, Wilbert McClure, Angel Oquendo, Pedro Soto, Carl Zuheda, Nate Collins, Bernie Briscoe. That was a title fight for the NSBF middleweight championship. He lost that, but he lost it. I think at one point I think he was winning, wasn't he?
Right, they stopped the fight on the tip, and he was starting to turn the fight around, and Briscoe was kind of fading him around. And the referee, which was Benny Briscoe's manager, stopped the fight.
Okay, wow. So then, unfortunately, he didn't win that fight, but he did very well. But there's something that's interesting about this. People say, yeah, Buster Douglas grew up in the shadow of his father. It's kind of funny because now, it's sad, but people kind of remember your father. Oh, yeah, this guy, Dynamite Douglas is Buster Douglas's dad. You know, it kind of went full circle.
Exactly, because that was one of the questions about me turning pro. Was like, oh, wait a minute, he's doing what? I thought he was a basketball player.
Yeah.
And because my dad, you know, they were like, well, I can't see him fighting like his father. His father was terror, you know, and I don't see that in young Douglas.
Yeah, sure.
So,
right. So then, is he going to do what? Can he measure up like his dad?
Right. And then my dad was equally than me, and he was very happy that I started to turn pro because he always thought I had the ability and the potential to do something in the sport.
Sure. And then at one point you said, my dad, he's my hero, he's hardcore. Tell us about that. Yeah. Tell us about how tough Billy Douglas was.
Because a lot of those fights that he would take would be like 3-day notices where he would fight main event fight in the guard. He fought for fear in the guard, the main event, 3-day notice. He fought in Philadelphia at the Spectrum, you know, and he was all over the world, man. He fought San Juan, Puerto Rico, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
South Africa at one point. Didn't he fly to South Africa and fight there?
He fought in South Africa.
Wow. So what we see happening is that he, like last minute, they get him and he performs. Right?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
My dad stayed in great shape, man. He trained all the time. See, that's what they thought they were going to catch him when he wasn't, ready, but he was a tyrant. He trained.
Tell us. Right. Tell us about his training. Tell us about a day in the life of your dad when he was training. What would he do?
His life would be he would get up in the morning and run to work, do 8 hours at work. I would pick him up late.
Yeah.
Because I would be messed up.
How far away was work from the Douglas home?
He probably at one time we lived probably about a mile outside of him, but he was another way in a different direction and then come back around, and go to work. And then we moved, and we moved about a little over 5 miles from the job. And he would get up and run and run to work, and then he would put 4 to 8 hours there. And then after that, he would come home, eat, relax a little bit, and then go to the gym with me, my 2 younger brothers sometimes, and take us to train, where he was running.
So let me ask you about this. So he'd be in there training. He would be sparring with people, doing pad work. What would he be doing? I mean, hey, we got cut off there. Hey, no problem. So yeah, so as we were saying, so you'd go with your brothers to the gym. What would tell us about your dad working out at the gym? What was that like?
Well, that was he would work all the kids out. He would work us out earlier. Then probably about 6 o'clock or 5:30, him and his guys would get in there and start sparring. So he would have my uncle J.D. McCauley would be sparring, and J.D. kind of fought as well. Then he would have another heavyweight in there. He would have some welterweights. Some of our top amateur fighters would be in there working out. I mean, he would have plenty of people to work out with. And he would work them out as well as they would work out with each other also. But
right,
the gym would be lit up. There'd be a lot of bodies in there, a lot of sparring going on.
So he might do, how many rounds would he spar?
I would say he would spar maybe, sometimes 10, 15 rounds or more. Then he would do, that's also counting the pad work he would do with us, teaching us how to throw punches and keeping our hands up, shooting jabs, just moving around. So he would have a demanding schedule, but he did it, man.
Well, it's intense. So he was looking at so James, we're looking at a guy that does maybe 3 to 4 hours a day of training, correct?
Yeah, throughout the day, yeah. You figure with the running, then coming into the gym in the evening, that's why he had such a great shape all the time. Never had a problem with weight, man.
Yeah, he looked like he's very lean. Very lean. The picture of...
He ate excellent. He ate shredded wheat. He was tremendously disciplined.
Right. So James, here's the deal, man. You've got him in your corner. He's your trainer. You went pro in 1981, correct?
Right.
Okay. You went pro. Your dad was there working with you on and off, or straight until just before the Tyson fight, like maybe a year before you decided to part ways with your dad. How many years was he training you once you turned pro?
He trained me for about 5 years. Yeah,
okay.
5 years. We kind of went our separate ways. He wasn't training me, but he was just advising me.
Is that hard? Is it hard to take your dad have your dad as a coach in the ring?
No, it wasn't hard. It was just, we got along and stuff. It's just that, like my Uncle JD would always say, he never really pushed me like he pushed himself. But JD would always say, Billy, Buster's not doing what he should be doing. He should be working a little harder. You worked harder than this. And then we finally, JD took over. And, that's when things really started taking off, because I started.
Well, you got a new style. Look, you had more than 5 years with him because you were doing stuff in the gym with him. So maybe it was more like 10 years that you had with your dad boxing. You were there, right?
Say it again.
I mean, you had more than 5 years being trained by your dad, Billy Douglas. It was more like about 10 years, wasn't it?
Well, he trained me from the beginning.
So
my whole amateur career, my trainer taught me the fundamentals and then not only the physical part, the mental part as well. With being determined and the thought process of preparing for a fight and what goes on in a fight. I used to love driving when we was to drive to the fights. He tells stories of his escapades and what he went through. It was like reliving it all over again, and I would just absorb everything he was saying.
So tell me something. What did he ever give you pep talks? Did he try to psych you up mentally? If so, what did he tell you?
He always psyched you up. When he started talking about fighting and the fight game, how to attack and the things that go through one's mind during the contest. All that was instilled in me through my father.
So then what? Okay, so let's bring it up to 1990. Okay. Yeah, I guess you heard about the fight. It came up was it 1990 that you were offered that fight, or is it in 89 with Tyson?
89, I got the fight in 89.
Okay, so your mom's still alive.
Right, and it was like for one instance, I went over to the house after we got the fight with Mike.
Yeah.
So I went over to Dad's house, which I went over there every night. My mom and Dad's house after working out, and he would tell me, and he would ask me what I did during the training course or the day, and I would tell him. Then he was like, then we'd go in the living room, and then he would kind of like move the furniture a little out the way a little bit because he would start talking about how to fight Mike.
And he was watching Tyson a lot, wasn't he? Was he studying him a lot?
Well, yeah, he knew how Mike. He watched Mike because that's what he did. He just watched the fights, and then so he was definitely watching Mike. So he would just tell me how to fight, and I'll tell you, sometimes, boy, I'll be like just sitting there looking at him, thinking like, what in the world? How am I supposed to do this?
Right.
He was intense.
He wasn't. So your dad was not intimidated by Mike Tyson, was he?
Pardon?
Your dad was not intimidated by Tyson's fighting style, was he?
No, not at all. He respected Mike. I mean, but he wasn't like, as far as him being intimidated, no. And that just made it even more so for me to be more positive about what was about to happen, So, he respected Mike, but he wasn't like, like most of everybody in America was, balls go up in their stomach, scared to death, just the thought of, having to go in the ring with him. But,
sure.
he was, he still felt strongly about he can be beat, he can definitely be beat.
Sure. So anyway, let me just give people the background. You had some unfortunate things happen in your personal life. You and your wife separated.
Right.
And your mother dies. But before she dies, she knows you're going to fight Tyson. She did not want that to happen. What happened? Tell us about your mom and the whole scene with Tyson.
No, she was never against me fighting Mike. She came over to the house and talked to me about him because, all her girlfriends would tell her, like, oh, Lula, this is retarded, What in the world is this this guy that Mike Buster get in fight? And she would quiz my dad about it, she was very inquiring mind, as far as, she wanted to find out what was this animal that my son was getting ready to fight. So she would ask him, like, Billy, you think my brother could tell you this? Because he was there when she was questioning my dad about Mike, asking him about, is he as tough as you? And, my dad was like, yes, dear, he's an animal,
So wait a second. So what was the consensus? Was it like, okay, Tyson is an animal, James is not an animal? Or that, no, that didn't.
Well, like, she wanted to know what her baby was getting into. So then she came over to the house. She came over to my house and was asking me about, about about how I was feeling and what I was doing. And I was telling her, and then by the time we got through, because I got really upset too. So by the time we got through talking, she was like, oh, you're just so mean. You're just so mean. Because she was happy. She was happy because she seen that I had the fire in me, that I wasn't sitting over there being all, subdued, like, oh my gosh, your mother could tell if you got doubt in you or not. And she felt very confident. Once she left the house, she started telling all her girlfriends, like, Buster's gonna be fine,
So what? So what? Why did you get upset? What were you upset about?
So she was questioning me about Mike, and then, like,
whether you were up to it.
Yeah, she wanted to see where I was mentally about this fight. So when I kind of got a little snippy with her, a little fiery. He was like, okay, he all right, he focused. She had her ways of figuring out too, because she was under Bill Douglas tutelage too when he was fighting, so she seen that my mindset was in the right place, and she started telling all her girlfriends the Buster's gonna beat Mike. You know, then she was telling her girlfriend I was gonna beat Mike.
There were people in Columbus that thought that. There were the one of the sports writers in Columbus said you were going to beat him, and that was impressive.
Yeah, Tim May followed me in my career as well, so he watched the development also. You know, then he flew out to Tokyo with us, so he's seen everything in the people's lives as well.
So anyway, here we bring it up to a few weeks before your mom passes away. It was a shock. She was pretty young. Not only was it a shock, it was a shock for which you were unprepared because it didn't look like she was ill, but you had no idea she was that sick.
Right. Yeah, she never let on that she was, wasn't feeling that bad, and then she kind of kept it to herself. But,
so she passes away. You must be dumbfounded. And people are saying, no, Mike, Buster, don't do this fight, man. And you said, no, I'm going to do it. Tell us about that.
Right, because it was Johnny and JD came over and asked me, did I still want to fight? And I was really determined. I was like, yeah, something that would have hurted her even more. So I was unable to continue. I know she was raised weak, young man. So I just think it made it even stronger for me, really put the fire down that I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this well,
Sure. So look, here we are. Okay, so you decided you were dead set on doing it. You were going to do it. That was it. You were fired up. Your back was against the wall, I guess, and you were ready. Tell us about the month before Tokyo. Your workout regimen, what you were doing, how you were training.
The workout was going great. JD was very happy with my runs. I was running really good times, and he's seen the encouragement, that I was working hard, and I was in the gym and I was working good with my sparring partners. So I had 3 sparring partners, and they were coming to work, testing me, pushing me every day.
Right.
It was just a great camp. And
how about your weight, James? James, what do you think? Listen, if we take you up to fight date, you were about was it 235 or a little bit less?
231.
Okay. So were you happy with that weight?
Yeah, I was very happy with it because the 40 and under was good for me, but in the 30s and then 20s, it was even better. It was like, I felt that I could go forever.
Yeah, sure.
And felt strong.
Right.
I could go forever. I was in great shape. I was in great shape.
So now we're on the fight day. Tyson had been monkeying around with girls. Greg Page, whom you beat, knocked him down. Did you know about that? He was sparring with Greg Page. Did you hear about that?
I didn't know about what he was doing over there.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing any other fighting, so it wasn't no fucking excuse about he was fucking around with girls. He did that every fight.
Yeah.
He was an animal.
Yeah, exactly. So, right. So now what? Yeah.
That's bullshit. He ready to go because he wasn't ready to go. He'd have went in 1 or 2 because what I was putting on him in the 10th round, 8th round, 7th round, 6th round was the same thing I was putting on him in the first round.
James, do you know what?
No shot.
James, do you remember the stats on you versus Tyson as far as the number of punches landed?
No.
It was okay. You threw approximately 441 punches, 230 of them connected. Tyson threw 214 punches and 101 connected. And when you look at those tapes of those fights, every round you were jabbing him on command, at your own will, on your own pleasure. You were just hitting him steadily, left and right, with jabs. And what stuns people is here's Tyson, 37-0 when he goes into Tokyo Dome on the 11th of February when you beat him. Tyson is only hit you half as many times as you did. You hit him. And it was a steady barrage. And the judges, the Japanese judges, had him ahead of you or even. What do you think of that, huh?
That was amazing. But that's what my dad always said. Only short decision is a knockout. You know, because they can dispute it any way they can. And once both of us standing there in the fight, well, Douglas put up a great effort, but he just came up a little bit short. It's like that'd have been horrible.
Oh yeah,
horrible. That
went to the judge's decision. Sure. So then, so you were feeling good. You go to you're hitting him on just constantly. You just dominated him. I think anybody who watches that fight says Buster Douglas dominated Tyson. So then. You had an unlucky moment, let's put it like that, in round 8. You got an uppercut from Tyson. You went down. Was there something that your dad told you that you didn't do, that you forgot to remember, you forgot to do when that happened?
Yeah, I stood in front of him. I stood in front of him and started admiring my work. I was looking at him like, yeah, what do you think about me now, motherfucker?
Because he thought he disrespected you. I mean, let me ask you something. What happened at the weigh-in? That's something I've never seen a film of that. I've never seen a tape of the weigh-in. Was he like disrespecting you in Tokyo?
I don't recall that, you know, at the weigh-in, but he was being nonchalant about everything, you know, for sure. You know, but I didn't care less. So I was like, well, whatever. Because I didn't think that he thought anything anyway. That's why we were in Tokyo. So I knew about that from the fight was going.
So but you were feeling proud and you were sick of the guy. I mean, you just thought you saw him, you know, talk trash to a lot of people, I guess. So then you come back after the end of the 8th round, and people thought you were gonna collapse in round 9. Tell us about round 9 and round 10.
Well, like I felt good after the knockdown. I wasn't too shaken up. And by the end of about the beginning of the 9th round, I felt really strong and ready to go back out there and get back in charge, get back in control of the fight. Sure. That's what I did to get back.
Sure, and then you go and tell us about the 20 seconds prior to the 5-round combination when you sent him to the canvas, and history was made.
Well, I was just, you know, having backing up on his heels, and JD yelled out, you know, pivot. And I pivoted, and when I pivoted, I seen the uppercut. You know, and I caught him with that uppercut, and I nailed him because I had everything in it.
Yep.
And then I finished with the next 4 punches, so it was a 5-punch combination, starting off with that uppercut. And it just, you know, did to do. But I still thought when I went back to the corner that he was going to get up because he kept getting up and taking those shots throughout the fight. But once I seen him reaching for that mouthpiece, I knew it was over then.
Oh my gosh, he was totally stunned. It was at that point that he was in a daze. So you win the fight. You know, I don't want to talk about Don King questioning it and trying to take it away from you, but tell us about your corner. Tell us about the jubilation.
Yeah, they were excited. The best part about the whole thing was when they announced me as the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Hearing that was just like, wow, that's it, I did it.
Did you feel like maybe like this is a dream and, you know, I'm about to wake up and I got to go to the Tokyo Dome and fight Tyson? It's not real?
Not at all. Not at all. I felt very focused and I knew where I was at the whole time. It was just once they announced the champion that did it. But what really did it is when I got that belt. But then to come to find out, you know, they didn't even bring another set of belts.
Well,
that belt I got received in the ring was Mike Tyson. One of my guys seen that belt laying on the table and picked it up and handed it to me.
Wow, what a moment! Huh? And so your grandfather's there. Your brother Bill is there too. Was he there too? One of your brothers was there in Tokyo with you?
Yeah, my brother Robert.
Right.
Yeah,
and so
he was short. He was a short guy. He came over to me too. He was on camera too. He was him, and then my son Lamar, my oldest son Lamar, was there. He was like 12.
oh my God. And so what time was it in Columbus when you beat Tyson?
And Columbus is probably 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock or so at night. But in Tokyo it was at noon.
Right. So wait. Did you call your dad? Did he call you? What was going on? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I called my dad.
And do you remember the conversation?
Yeah, the conversation was like, son, I'm so proud of you. You did it. You did it. You fought a great fight.
Wow.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. I love
wow,
it.
Man.
Love it. Yeah.
Wow. So, and you come back. What was? Tell us about what was going down in Columbus, Ohio when you returned.
When we came back, we first landed in Chicago, and then we were walking down the jetway, and I was talking to a friend of mine. We were walking and talking, and I looked up. And I said, "I don't know what's going on down there." And I know there was a lot of commotion at the end of the jetway. And I had no idea that they were down there for me, and I was like, I wonder what's going on down there. It still hadn't really, it was just, it hadn't hit me.
You're still a regular guy, man. You're still a regular guy. It didn't hit you yet.
Right, it was like, what's the commotion, what's going on? These lights and people down there, we walk out there, and then they're like, $100. And they were like, okay.
Hey! So James, okay, it was 8 months with the Crown. They must have given you a hero's welcome in Columbus, right? I mean, the key to the city and.
We get to Columbus, and no, I didn't get the key to the city. I got a key to Chicago, though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got a key to Chicago.
Wow.
Great town.
Oh yeah. So then, those 8 months with the Crown, I mean, were people reluctant to give you the recognition that you deserved? We all know about the fight that took place with the WBC and the Boxing Commission.
Yeah, the organization, they really did what they could do to damper it. The only one that came first to the plate was RDF. They just automatically, they came, acknowledged me as the heavyweight champion, and that belt wasn't even recognized in Tokyo at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just the WBC and the WBA that were like reluctant to acknowledge the fight that I was the champion, and they were trying to say it was, whatever, but it was horrible. I tell you what, the best time of the whole fight was hearing my name announced as the new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Wow, man.
Shortly after getting out the ring and walking back to the dressing room, then the word came back that they were protesting and Don King was having a heart attack.
Don King.
Yeah.
So Don King, okay, I mean, your dad knew Don King. He introduced you, right, to Don King.
Right.
I mean, what's your, what do you think of Don King now? I mean, he's in his 80s. He's still trying to do it, going slower than he was before. I mean, what's your take on the guy now? I mean, there are some positives, but some negatives, I guess. What's your view now?
Yeah, I don't have no view at all, man. It's let that shit go, man.
Right. So okay, and so it was.
I just say this, my man. It was like my regime as the heavyweight champion was like no other.
Oh yeah, what did they say? The things they said. They said this is the biggest upset in boxing. No. This is the biggest upset in the history of sports.
Yeah. But it wasn't even that. So the thing with me was just that, I didn't get a chance to enjoy it as far as being able to take a few months off and just go take the family and go hang out and then, make a nice transition, preparing for the next fight and all that. It was a fight from the onset. It was never not a fight.
Something that Yeah. Did you feel like it all that stuff together, the loss of your mother, what happened in your family, your son was ill.
I never got to breathe. My wife, not my wife, but my mom passed, and my son's mother was really battling. Her kidneys were failing. She had to go in dialysis and get a new kidney and all.
You were like you had too much going on in your life, really.
It was a madhouse. It was crazy, man.
Do you think it was kind of like you kind of were in a moment of psychological collapse? That there was so much going on.
It was just that everything came at me at one time, man. It was just overwhelming. It got to the point where it was just. So we even started fighting amongst ourselves, me and Johnny, and it was crazy, man. It was just trying to do this, and it was like pulled in every direction and stuff. We never took a chance to sit back and really map out a plan on how we were going to do it and what was our next goal, our next thing. It was just after a while we became being dictated to. It was just.
And James, what's that?
I said only enjoyment was, fighting the fight and winning it and hearing my name announced. But after that, it started slowly going downhill. And by the end of the next 7 months, it was crazy. Yeah,
it was not a let's say a pleasant experience. So you had some problems. You had. You lost against Evander Holyfield, unfortunately, and then you had some wild fluctuations in your weight, but you made a comeback. And are you really proud of that comeback? You must think that that's something that really kind of like validated your ability to come back from adversity, right? That
was the main goal right there. That was the main victory, was being able to get back on my feet and get back into life. Get back on my feet and get back into life,
Sure. Yeah. So, right. So then you don't want to make a comeback. You don't want to come. You're now, let's see, you're 56, is it, James?
58.
58. So I guess you're not going to come back to the room and box and return to pro boxing, right?
No, I'm just beat those kids up in the gym now. I'm beating them up every day. They're challenging me, man. I gotta fight every day. Okay.
Is there and your kid's gonna be like, a future pro boxer? When your son's is sort of following your footsteps.
Yeah, I got 2 kids fighting, but they're just fighting, doing their thing, having a good time.
Right. So
living the dream.
Right.
Yeah, I'm having a good time in the gym training. I got a bunch of good little prospects though, man. It's just, I'm gonna have probably the state fair coming up in August, national tournament here and locally in Columbus. I'm gonna probably have we have 5 or 6 kids in there, if not more.
Sure.
Yeah, I got a nice group of kids coming to the gym, and that's what it's all about, man. Getting these kids back off the streets and into the gyms. And
well, that's great. You're doing something. You're giving back. And which is an important thing, it's not all about you. It's about helping other people, helping other kids. So listen, Total Line TV, very grateful to be able to talk with James Buster Douglas, a regular guy, an outstanding champion, somebody that everybody can identify with because he arrived at that. Nobody thought he could do it, and he pulled it off. One of the greatest upsets in American sporting and world sporting history as well. James, thanks so much for your time. Much obliged. And we look forward to interviewing again. We hope to be able to have Joe Egan and Kumail here sit down with you and do an interview, talk about some of your fights. But we're glad we were able to talk about William or Billy Dynamite Douglas, one of the most extraordinary guys in the middleweight division, a real contender, a very, very strong man and a great father. So thanks so much, James, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. All the best to your success.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks, James.
You're welcome.